I don't know what was going on over there, why that was doing that. But let's get everybody in. This chair making me look slouch because it wasn't even the chair I was supposed to use. Get in here, get in here, get in here. Let's go. We are talking, this is for my career girlies tonight. This is resume do's and don'ts. So let's get in here so we can get this episode started, so we can get y'all into the six-figure mindset. A lot of y'all have been working these jobs and you're not getting your worth. So first of all, welcome, welcome, welcome everybody coming in. This is Coach China. Yes, I got a bust down in the pink hair this time. March is my month for me wearing hair. Pink is my color this month, so it's going to be a couple of different pink styles, but we're going to start with this really quick, so y'all get on in here. This is for the career girlies. Let's talk about these resume do's and don'ts so y'all can start getting rejections. Hello, hello, hello. Let's get it started. I am Coach China. I am a certified life coach, so everything that I coach on, I'm able to coach on, hey, in every facet of life. That's everything under the cloud of life. I coach on that. So tonight we're going to be talking about the careers, and we're talking about the resume do's and don'ts, because a lot of y'all are trying to get to the point where y'all making six figures or y'all making a decent salary, and a lot of y'all can't get there because sometimes y'all resumes are not speaking to the job description and to what is in your past that shows that you can actually do this job. So tonight we're going to talk about what you should have in your resume, what should not be in your resume, and how you can leverage yourself to be able to get close to those six figures, if not get over those six figures. Okay, so now resume do's and don'ts, so you can stop getting rejected before they even meet you, because a lot of times y'all will submit y'all resume, hey, oh, thank you. Hey, a lot of times y'all submit y'all resumes to these jobs, and then within 24 hours you got your rejection email. You're trying to understand, wait a minute, what happened? What happened? I could do the job. I'm not doubting that you can't do the job. I know that you can do the job. However, because your resume doesn't show them that you can do the job, that's where a lot of the rejections come in at, okay? So tonight we're going to talk about the resumes, because a lot of y'all are getting rejected because you are not unqualified. Thank you. Thank you. You're not getting rejected because you're unqualified for the position. You're getting rejected because your resume, first of all, doesn't speak to who you are to this position, as well as it's not humanized, okay? And I need y'all to understand something before we even start. Your resume is not a life story. I know y'all like to put y'all entire job history in the resume. That's the wrong thing to do. That's the quickest way for you to get a rejection. Having too many jobs in your resume, it doesn't show that that you can be stable in one job. It shows that you're a job hopper. You bounce around. So because of that, of course, you're going to get more rejection from somebody who's actually been in a job longer than you. Not that because you can't do the job, but because it doesn't look like you're stable and you're reliable enough to get the job, okay? On top of that, it is not meant for you to tell everything that you've ever done in your career history. It's only meant for you. It's a marketing document. It's going to be able to market who you is before you even get to the interview panel. And it also needs to do one specific job. And that job is, let's start by talking about the things that it should not do, okay? So first and foremost, stop using Chat GPT and other AI programs to write your resume. Now listen, during COVID, listen to me. When COVID was strong and we was working from home, those resumes that was made by AI, if it was some AI created at that time, those resumes worked. Why? Because they was really trying to get people hired into these positions. And as the years started going away from the COVID, the resumes begin to get the AI, of course, Chat GPT was now introduced, and now you got more resumes being submitted that speaks exactly to the job description. Now, the problem with that is it wasn't that the resume didn't speak to the job description. It's that once y'all got in y'all interviews, you did not sound or write like your resume. That is reason why they put those scanners in these companies now, okay? Companies now have AI scanning software. So when you submit your resume, it automatically goes through a scanning software to see if AI has had any parts of that resume. And if AI has did any parts of that resume, you're going to get rejected. They are sick of y'all using Chat GPT and other AI and telling them exactly what they want to read. And then when y'all get in the interview, you don't sound like your resume. You're not even using the words in your resume. You write completely different. That's a red flag. So that's why you're getting rejections, okay? They are scanning the resume before the recruiters even see them. So if your resume sounds over polished, over generic, or sounds like a template, the system will flag it. You will get your rejection, okay? And this is why some of y'all be applying for jobs and get rejected within 24 hours. Nobody even looked at your experience, didn't even touch your resume, didn't even look at your qualifications. It just detected that AI has some portion of this resume written by it. And so therefore, you're going to be removed from consideration, okay? Now you're confused thinking that why weren't you qualified? Well, it's not that you wasn't qualified. It's just, again, you compared to your resume, two different things, okay? So now your resume never made it past technology. If you don't know how to properly write or translate your job description from a human standpoint, then that's the whole purpose of you getting with EMT Group. EMT Group is a career, is full of career services. Over there with EMT Group, you're going to get a professional resume writer who can turn your experience into exactly what you needed to say and speak like you, and you'll be able to get interview prep and other details with EMT Group, okay? Y'all never want to invest in something that can help your future, help you get more money. But the fact that you're not willing to invest, and you're going to keep going with the resume that you created or using the one that Chat GPT created, you're going to consistently keep getting rejections, and you're going to have to stay on this side of the six figures because unfortunately you don't want to invest in yourself. So that's what it is, all right? So now, writing a resume is not about sounding smart. It's about sounding accurate and believable. And again, when y'all have Chat GPT do y'all resumes, you do not sound like your resume once you get inside of that interview. And that's a problem, okay? Next thing that you don't do. Your resume should not include every job that you've ever worked. Sis, please. Please stop turning in resumes that got jobs that you worked at from back when you was a teenager, back when you was in your 20s, back when you was in college, if you went to college. Your resume should not have that many jobs on there. For one, because you got to realize the job that you first did in your career has nothing to do with your career right now. So you're putting your McDonald's job on there, you're putting your Wendy's job on there, but you're applying for you to be a phlebotomist and to take blood. That don't even go together. The only thing that you can take from McDonald's and Wendy's is customer service, because you do have to do that when you're coming phlebotomist. But if you don't, but other than that, McDonald's and Wendy's does not belong on a phlebotomist resume. McDonald's and Wendy's will only belong on a resume if you're trying to stay in food services. If you're trying to move out of food services, McDonald's and Wendy's should not be in your resume unless you know how to transfer the skills that you did with those companies over to the new job. Okay, so every job since high school, every job that was a short-term position, every job that's unrelated, that tells the employer that you can keep a job, but it also tells them that, but it doesn't tell them that you can do their job. So they're not looking for every job. Your resume must depict the position you are applying for. It is very important that you understand that resumes must be tailored to speak to the job description. So for instance, if the job description is a banker, you have to be a teller. Certain duties that you got to do as a teller, right? One of them is counting money, standing for long periods of time, and things of that nature. Whatever those duties are that say for the teller, your resume needs to have depicted those duties that you have worked at least one time in your life, okay? Preferably within the last 7 years. If you're giving them a resume for a tailored position, and again, it has positions dealing with Wendy's and McDonald's, when you worked at the movie theater, unrelated experience is now in your resume. The bank don't know that you can't do their job. They don't know that. They see that you got some customer service, but they don't know that you can specifically be a tailor. So with that being said, you're probably going to get rejected from that position. Okay, so every application should have a slightly different resume. You should not be submitting the same resume to different positions. Sis, think about that. The job is teller here. Then the teller here. Then you also want to apply for the bank customer service or something else. Every resume that you submit should be different. No resume should be the same. Why? Because every job description that you apply for is different. None of the job descriptions say the same thing. So why are you submitting the same resume to different positions? Another reason why you are being rejected, because again, your resume is not even speaking to this position, and then you're using this resume, and you're using this one resume, and you apply for 10 different positions with this one resume. This one resume barely got the experience of the one position, but now you're going to use it to across 10 positions. It doesn't even depict what 10 positions said. Okay, so yes, this takes time and this takes effort. But if you're trying to get into a better job with a higher salary, you're going to have to take the time and the effort, or you're going to have to pay your resume writer to do that. Okay, careers require intention. So the same way I've been telling y'all that in order for y'all to date intentional men is going to require effort and for you to pay attention. That's what it's going to be, the same thing with your job. Or you can just keep taking the dusties and the dusty job that don't pay you nothing. It all go together, okay? Now, your job description is your best friend. It's no way in hell that y'all got a job description that's telling you that it needs you to do from A through Z, and your resume is talking about something else. Your job description, the one that you're applying to, that is exactly what they want your resume to look like and depict. It should be your guide. So while you're doing your resume, while you're doing the application, the job description should be right there. You should be telling them that you can do all of these jobs in your resume. Let me give you an example. Let's pull up a job on Google Jobs. Let's pull up a job on Google Jobs. And I want to read the job description and tell you what your job description, what your resume should say. All right, so I pulled up a repair technician. All right, let's talk about the job duties in this description. The responsibilities is the repair technician will work in a warehouse operation, is responsible for facilitating and conducting repair of Encore-owned equipment and supports equipment transportation. The position is also responsible for implementing and overseeing quality control. Other duties that this needs: equipment maintenance, perform technical and cosmetic repair, includes related items, support all of quality control processes, design and build miscellaneous equipment. Do you see how specific this job description is that I just read y'all, right? Now, in this job description, it also tells you the qualifications. It says for you to get this job, you have to have a minimum of an associate's degree or diploma, thank you, in that related field. It also says at least 1 year of experience in competent level of fault installation and repair, experience as a repair professional, clean soldering, DE soldering skills, ability to use the test equipment such as DNM. It's telling you what the qualifications is, telling you what you got to have for this position, and a responsibility telling you what you have to do. Sis, that's your best friend. Everything that's in that job description, qualifications, should be in your resume. If it says you need to have an AA degree, your resume education needs to show that you got an AA degree or more. It can say a bachelor's. So when they ask you in an interview, tell me why you're the best person for this position. You'll go back to your job description. You can say, okay, according to the job description, it says I need to have a minimum of an associate's degree. Well, I actually got a bachelor's degree. Check off. Now you have qualified in the education, because the minimum was associates. You just told them that you got a bachelor's. So now they know that you at least got the education. They said that you need to have basic computer Microsoft skills. Well, you say, according to your job description, I need to have basic computer Microsoft Office skills. Well, I'm actually very, very skilled in Microsoft Office. I have an 85% or higher proficiency rate using it. Check that off. You just told them why you qualify, because not only do you have an 85% or higher rate for you to know Microsoft Office, you only needed to have the basic education for it. So now you've exceeded that qualification. Then it also says you need to have experience cleaning, soldering, these soldering skills. Well, now you can say, well, in my last position, I actually cleaned and cleaned whatever this is, skills of both the through-hole, surface, and mount components. Listen, I just pulled a job description up. Y'all don't worry about me. I'm tripping over my word. That's because I just pulled anything up. What I'm saying is this: the qualifications in the job description should be in your resume. Is there anything like being overqualified? It is, okay? So say, for instance, the position says you need to have an associate's degree and you got a bachelor's degree. That's great. But then it say associates, you come in there and you can't wait to brag about your PhD. You are overqualified. And they know with that PhD, even though you got over the associate's degree, you're going to want more money. And this particular position doesn't pay that much. So if you come in with a PhD, to a position that needs to have a minimum of associates, that means a PhD is more than a bachelor's, that's more than a master's, you're going to want that type of money. If that company is not paying that, this job says it's going to pay between $20 to $27 an hour. Your PhD should get you over 40. They're not going to hire you just because your education alone is too much for them to pay for. So yes, you can be overqualified for a position, but you need to be looking at the qualifications to see if you minimally qualify for this position. And how do you minimally qualify? Please don't apply for positions that you have over 20 years experience in and too much education, because the money that you think that you're going to get, they're not going to pay. I'm so sorry, they're not. All right. Now, if a job description says project coordination, data reporting, client communication, and nowhere in your resume does it say words or similar job description, then you will be automatically rejected. Again, your resume needs to speak to the position, okay? Your resume should not speak about your full past. It needs to speak about the future role that you're applying to. So you are showing that you are aligned with that role as opposed to overqualified or not qualified at all, okay? Employers are not hiring your history, sis. I know you've been working all of these years, but guess what? They don't care. Especially if all of the years that you've been working has nothing to do with the position that you're applying for. They could care less if you've been working since you were born. Have you been doing this work in a job description since you came out of the womb? If the answer is no, then you're going to be rejected, okay? So they are not hiring for your potential. If you can do the job, they want to hire to know if you can potentially perform in that job the way it's supposed to be, okay? Now, number 3, remove resumes should not have your full address. I don't know who told y'all to put Shamika Jones, 3346 or Rayberry Road, Cincinnati, Ohio. Absolutely not. First of all, listen, you're submitting your resume to a company full of people with eyeballs. On top of that, it goes through an ATS system. Sometimes your resumes go through email. You are putting yourself at risk for somebody to be fraud all over you by having your first name, your last name, and your address and your email address on one document that you submit to a company, because you know what can happen? Do you know what can happen? If their ATS system gets hacked, guess what? The scammer has all of your information. All they got to do is try to figure out if the social going to work. And sometimes they don't need your social to scam. But they know your first and last name, your address, and your email address. So those things right there match. What if they call Experian and try to be you to get your social? Who knows? You see what I'm saying? Your full address never was it supposed to ever be on a resume at no time, okay? That document is going through an ATS system. That document is also getting transferred via email. These hackers got a way of getting everything that they need just from your address and your first name and your email address, okay? All you need is a city and state, your phone number, and a professional email address. That's right. Please do not submit resumes with sexy Drika. We don't want to know that you're sexy, okay? And I'm telling y'all that's because I used to be a recruiter as well. I worked as a recruiter. Unprofessional email addresses will get you rejected. Not because we were being shallow, but because you are not depicting yourself as a professional. You should not just be using any email address the same way you should not be using any email address in your small business. It looks funky. I have experience in cloud engineers. My resume has it all. Yeah, I get 0 calls because something in your resume is too much. And if it doesn't speak to the actual position you're applying for a path, then that's why you're getting the rejections, okay? Just because you have the experience doesn't mean that you're speaking to that particular position, all right? I keep telling y'all can have 3,000 years of experience in whatever field. But if that experience doesn't speak to this job description, you're going to keep getting 0 call back, okay? You're going to get only rejections. It has to speak to the job description, and it cannot sound like an AI. It has to sound like a human wrote it, like you wrote your job description. And when they talk to you in your screening, in your first screening, you got to sound like in your job, in your resume. You have to sound the same, okay? You can't use big words in your resume and sound small words in person on the phone. You gotta pull back somewhere, okay? Now, your street address only exposes your personal information and adds zero hiring value, okay? And another thing, again, when a hiring manager, let me tell y'all something about hiring managers. When the hiring managers see our resumes, because they have to go through the recruiters first, and I told you I was a recruiter. We're the first line of defense to make sure that your resume gets to the hiring manager. When I was a recruiter, I love to be able to compare your resume to the job description, okay? If your resume had too many things in it, I would take some things out to help you get to the hiring manager. I would like take your address off. I don't want this to look janky because your experience speaks to the position. So I will go ahead and remove some things from your resume so that you don't get rejected from the hiring manager, okay? So that's what I will do as a recruiter. That's what a lot of recruiters do. Sometimes we do have to make y'all resumes ready to be submitted to our hiring managers because we already know what they're expecting, okay? So we got to get y'all resumes ready. If your resume is coming through and it has unnecessary things, more than likely it's going to be rejected because as a recruiter myself, I did not want to do all of that reading. So I know if I didn't want to do all the reading, I know the hiring manager's not going to do the reading. They're really going off what the recruiter says. So if the recruiter gave them good bullet points, they're going to go off what that recruiter said. Then they're going to look at your resume, and then they're going to make the decision. They're going to reach out to you. That's how hiring managers do. Their judgment is literally based on the recruiters. So if your resume gets rejected at the recruiter, that's because it didn't have the things that it needed to have to show that you can do the job. Okay. Now, references also do not go on the resume. I don't know where that came from. It's so juvenile. Nobody's first and last name and telephone number and email address should be on your resume in a section called references. And let me tell you why, the main reason. First of all, you have not even got hired yet. If you put references on your resume, you run into a risk of you losing a job. Let me tell you why. If you ain't told this reference that somebody's going to be calling them for a reference, your reference, for one, might answer the phone janky. A lot of y'all give personal cell phones. So you have not even told them that you use them as a reference. That's for one. For two, now you have let this company call these people before they even chose to hire you. And if they call one of the people and the people didn't know they was calling and that person really gives them an honest review of you, one that didn't sell you well, you've already lost the job and they haven't even interviewed you. Do not give hiring managers any type of reference until you are hired in the position. And when you get hired, they ask for your references so they can go ahead and start your background check. That is the only time you give references, okay? Now, employees request those later. Putting them up front wastes space and exposes other people's information unnecessarily. Remove them from your resume immediately. They never went on a resume, and they will close the door of a job because people, again, if they reach out to your resume, to your references before they contact you, and your references don't know that they're calling, you may be out of a job because you're doing too much, pushing too fast, too soon, and you're picking up speed, about to crash and burn, okay? So you have to keep tailoring every job description towards the job description that seems exhausting. It is. I just told y'all, looking for a job is very exhausting. Let me tell y'all why. Because when I say that every resume has to be tailored, you will find yourself submitting 20 different resumes for 20 different jobs. The same way you'll have 20 different applications for 20 different jobs. It is what it is. You have to let them know that you can do their job. They don't care if you worked for the last 20 years. If that work history does not relate to their job, then you're going to be denied. So yes, it is tedious, it is exhausting. But if you don't turn in a different resume to every time you apply, you're going to keep getting rejections. Now, unless you apply for at a bunch of fast food restaurants, that resume ain't got to change because you're just going from restaurant. That doesn't have to change. But if you're trying to convert customer service and fast food over to customer service in a call center, then absolutely it does have to change. It's required to change, okay? Now, the next thing that doesn't belong on your resume is irrelevant awards. Now I know some of y'all are just happy that y'all got, an attendance award when you was in high school or at your last job. They gave you, the employee of the month and all those. And those look good. You can talk about that in your interview, okay? It should not be on your resume. We don't care about your awards, okay? Can you do the job? Especially if these rewards have nothing to do with the job at hand. So you're applying for a software engineer position. Your resume has rewards on here from when you was an employee of the month at the last job. But the last job wasn't a software engineer job. It actually was just a help desk technician. So I don't want to see your help desk technician reward for a software engineer job. That has to be removed, okay? Again, rewards on your resume take up space and they make the resume longer. If your resume is too long, I guarantee you will be rejected. Why? Because hiring managers and recruiters do not like to go through more than 2 pages if it's a private organization resume and 3 pages if it's a federal resume. If you're making your resume too long because you're adding references, award sections, your full address, you're probably going to be denied. I don't care about the rewards. The hiring manager doesn't either. That doesn't do anything for us. I relocated to Dallas. I just made 3 different resumes and felt bad. You better have more than that, because when you get to Dallas, you're gonna be applying for different positions. You're gonna need a resume for every one of those positions. So do not feel bad. You got the experience now. You're gonna need way more than those 3, because those 3 will not carry you if you apply for 10 jobs. Those 3 resumes are only going to go to 3 of those jobs. I am a UAE, and I'm having a cleaning job in my company. I don't know what you mean. Explain that. I don't know what you mean over there. Okay. Hey, Monique. So again, if you when you're moving to new cities, that's especially important that you have a bunch of different resumes for the job that you're going to apply to. Unless you're applying to a call center job and that's all you're applying to is a call center job, then yes, you can have one resume for that call center job. If you're applying to restaurant work, a bunch of restaurants, one resume for those restaurants. But if you're trying to change your job you're going to have different resumes. I'm sorry. Every job is different, okay? So now that we got those irrelevant awards, if you won awards in school that have nothing to do with the position you're talking about, it doesn't need to be there. Your resume is not a trophy case. Every line should answer one question or talk about one thing in that job description. Does this, and in your resume, you need to be asking yourself when you're putting it together, if I put this section, will this section help me get the job? If the answer is no or you're unsure, remove the section, okay? Just get rid of it. Just get rid of it. Now, your resume does not need to be lengthy. I just told y'all that. All right, let's talk about it. Private sector jobs want to know about the last 7 years of your work history. Okay, so if the job says, let's pull up another job description. This time I'm going to pull up 21st century site coordinator. It's an instructor, all right? So if you're going to apply for this site instructor position over the last 7 years, I need to see the following in your resume. I need to see let me get my glasses. Y'all know how I am. I don't know why I be sitting here like I can see. Hold on a second. Let me get my glasses. Don't nobody move. I always be acting like I can see, but I can't. Not all the way. All right. I can see better. All right. I'm so sorry, y'all. Here we go. So in this particular job description, it says manage the daily operations of the after school all stars program, perform supervisory work under the direction of the program coordinators, responsible for planning, organizing, directing, ensuring student staff safety. Okay. I just told you the job, the duties that's there. Now, over the last 7 years, your job should have those duties in some sort that you've did in a job. If you are given a resume that doesn't speak to that, then sis, you're doing too much. Okay? They only want to see the last 7 years as it relates to this job description. They don't care what you did in those 7 years if it doesn't relate. Now, does that mean that you don't have to put that experience on your resume? No, that doesn't. There is another section on your resume because you're going to have there's a section for relevant experience. That's what's relevant to the position. That's what's going to go in that section, relevant experience. And then you'll have another section that says other experience. And in the other area, then that's when you'll list the job at McDonald's that you did customer service and the years that you was there. But you will not break down all of the duties there. It's just going to have one line. McDonald's from 2017 to 2019, McDonald's crew member and in the city and state. One line, okay? In other experience. In relevant experience for the last 7 years, it needs to show whatever this job description is saying. Now when it comes to federal is looking for the last 10 years of your job history, okay? And federal definitely wants it to be related to the position. So if you're applying for a federal position, they're going to want 10 years of your job history. They need to go back 10 years because federal does a different background check than the private sector does, okay? So they're going to be looking for different things in your last 10 years of your job history, all right? And some federal jobs are going to require you to have a clearance, okay? So because of that, the clearance is going to do a background check. You can't have certain charges, all right? So federal, 10 years on your job history for a federal resume, no more than 3 pages. And on the private sectors, the last 7 years, no more than 2 pages, okay? All right. So now let's go down, positioning yourself. Let's have an honest conversation. Some of y'all are going to have to reposition your experience, all right? How should I describe being a stay-at-home mom for the last 5 years you don't with? For the last 5 years, stay-at-home moms will continue to get rejections because a lot of people in America don't feel like a stay-at-home mom is a job. But what you will do is tell them while you were stay-at-home that you ran a business. Give your business a name. Let's just say, Whitney's daycare, Whitney's home daycare. You see how it just took you 7 years of you just being at home until 7 years of you having an at-home daycare. And you'll go ahead and describe everything that you did. But when you put that on a resume that you're applying for, say for instance, you're applying for a bus driver now. You did 7 years at home and you watched those kids. Now you want to apply for a bus driver. What you need to have in your resume is not only that you watched those kids, but you transported those kids from the daycare to other locations safely. You see what I'm saying? That's how you're going to be able to get into the bus driver position because bus drivers transport kids from one location to the next, okay? What if you are a hairstylist for the past 15 years and have a degree in marketing or data analysis? That's perfect. So as your hairstylist, you're going to put Rachel Styles, or you're going to give your name of whatever your business name is. And under for the position, you're going to put marketer. You're not going to put hairstylist. You're going to put marketing because your degree is in marketing or data analysis. You see what I'm saying? You're going to put Rachel's beauty salon and you're going to put marketer, head marketer. Okay. And then you're going to list all the duties that Rachel did to market her business because she, in fact, had to market her styling services. That's what you'll do. Okay. Whenever y'all have been doing your own jobs or been stay-at-home moms, you just have to make it make sense on your resume by just giving yourself giving your business a name, giving yourself a real job title, and giving yourself duties that relate to the job that you're applying for. It doesn't mean that I got to tell them I'm a stay-at-home, they're going to reject me. They will. Because again, people in America really don't care about stay-at-home moms. They don't think y'all do enough, but just whatever. So you make them know that you actually did some work while you're home. Give yourself a name of your business, give yourself a title, and give yourself some real job duties, okay? And when you're welcome. And when it's time for references to come through, call up your cousins. Call up, hey, I need you to be a reference to this business. And tell them that who gonna call, and they need to be answering their phone professionally. Like, you don't want to have a cousin as a reference and then she answer the phone ghetto as hell. Come on, we don't want that we don't want that to throw to people, okay? We don't want that to throw. We can use our family as references, okay, if we need to, but we don't want them to be answering the phone any kind of way. All right. Now, as I said, some of you will have to reposition your experience. All right. So that means your resume must reflect the professional that you are becoming, not where you came from. So you cannot randomly make things up and then freeze during interviews. Sis, if you're finna if you're finna try to transition your job to become a recruiter, listen to me. That's why you need interview prep with EMT Group. The reason why is because she has to get you to talk like a recruiter. You've never been a recruiter before, so you don't know how to talk like a recruiter. You don't know the jargon to use. You don't know how to use metrics. You don't know any of those things. All you know is that when you want to stop working over here, you want to be a recruiter. Where you're going to need interview prep help, because for one, you got to know how to answer the questions that's related to you being a recruiter. Metrics is one of them. A lot of y'all know nothing about metrics. You don't even know how to put it in your resume. Another reason why you are getting denied, because you got a bunch of positions on your resume and none of them have any metrics, quantitative or qualitative. What type of work did you do at this company, and how much did you help this company? Like, how much did you help this company grow in other ways? What numbers did you do? How was your customer service satisfaction scores? All of these things belong in your resume, okay? Now, you have to become the version of yourself that your resume introduces. So if you're gonna be a software engineer, please know how to talk like a software engineer. That means you're gonna have to do some studying. You can use ChatGPT. You can use Google, but can tell you how to talk in these interviews. Just don't sound like a robot. You need to know exactly how to answer the questions as it relates to the positions. So when they say, tell me about yourself, you have to know how to go through your software experience background and tell them about your software history, not whatever other history you had. Well, when I first started working, I was 15 years old. They don't care about that, sis. They don't care about nothing before you became a software engineer. So talk to them like you've been a software engineer. Thank you. Thank you. I just finished cleaning it too, and it ain't got nothing on it. It be hydrated. I'm so happy for it, but thank you for that. So now, if you say you coordinated projects, you need to understand coordination before the interview. What is project coordination? I can tell you because I work as a project manager and I worked as a project coordinator first, but you don't know what that is because you've never done it. Okay. If you say you know how to be you're a hiring manager. Well, where in your job description have you hired others before? And do you know how to talk like a hiring manager? Hiring managers will talk about metrics. They will talk about certain things that you don't talk about yourself. So sis, you have to study who you say that you're becoming. All right. You have to be that so that you can get in the door and get the job. Every company will teach you your job. Every company will never let you run rampant in a company. But in order to get into the job, you got to actually know what you're talking about. So you got to do some studying, okay? Your resume is a declaration of capability, okay? So if you say you manage processes, you need to learn those processes. What is the process that you say you manage, okay? Growth requires stepping into the role before someone gives it to you. So before you even get the job, sis, I need you to become who you say that you are. It's no way around it, all right? Many of you finally get interviews and lose the opportunity because you cannot articulate your experience confidently. And if you can't do that, again, that's what EMT Group comes into play. She's going to help you with your resume and she's going to help you with interview prep. Why would you consistently keep trying to do it on your own and you keep getting denials and rejections? I hate that for you. But that's the same way I was in my career until EMT Group taught me how to interview properly. I was getting rejections. And whenever I'm changing my career over, I do about, let's just say, for instance, when I came out of this, and this is my true work history. When I came out of college, I was working in social services. All right. I worked in social services for quite some time, but social services don't pay you nothing. I had a master's degree and all I got to was $37,500. With a master's degree, that's too low. So my sister helped change my career from social service. I went in technical field first, technology. I was working on the help desk. So in the first interviews, I had to listen to her. She did my interviews for me because we're twins. We can do that. A lot of y'all don't have twins, so you got to learn from the person. And she is EMT Group. In the beginning, she did all of my interviews, and I was required to be on a three-way because they called my phone. I called her on three-way. She did my interview. I had to record that call or take notes so that I could start doing my interview in the future because she wasn't going to do nothing but 2 interviews for me. It was my responsibility to learn how to answer those questions, listen to my sister answer the questions. So she did the first 2 interviews. I got the job. I went to the job. They taught me how to do the job, and I got there. Do you hear what I'm saying? I used her experience with my name. And when she did the interviews, when I got to the job, they taught me the job. All right. So I went from social services to technology. From technology, okay, I was making 40,000 there. But now, when you make more money, you want to actually when you start making more money, you start want to climb that ladder. You start want to get more money. So now I done went from 37.5 to 40,000. I'm at 40,000. 40,000 still not enough. So I tell my sister again, all right, I want to make at least 65,000. She's like, all right, I'm gonna teach you how to be a recruiter. That's why you got to get you somebody who's going to help get you to the place you need to be in life. I'm trying to tell you. She said, I'm going to teach you how to be a recruiter. So I'm like, all right. So she taught me how to be a recruiter. We did like a little Zoom meeting because she was in Atlanta and I was in Florida. We did a Zoom meeting and she told me how to use the software. And from there, she said, okay, now I'm going to do your resume. I'm going to do your resume and use my experience. Okay. Her experience on my resume with my name again got me the interviews. So she said, okay, now I'm going to do the first 3 interviews for you. You're going to have to listen to these interviews and learn how to do your own interviews. So that's what I did. I listened to the 3 interviews and recorded them. So now I know how to answer these questions as a recruiter. By the 4th interview, because I first got the first three rejections, of course, because you're looking to get rejected in the beginning because you got to learn how to talk in an interview. By the 4th interview, I did my own interview and I got the job. Now, when I get on the job, they teach me how to exactly do the job for their company. Now I know how to do a recruiter. I told you, my sister taught me the basic stuff over Zoom, but the company taught me how to really become a recruiter. Thank you. So that's what they did. They showed me my job. So once I got in there, I said, okay, now after me doing recruiting for about 2 years, now I want to go into compensation. So I already have the experience from social services. I got the experience from technology. I got the experience from being a recruiter. I want to make more money. So I don't mind giving them a resume by changing my job titles. I don't mind doing the lying because President Trump lied to get in office. He's doing a horrible job, but guess what? We put him in there. So back to what I'm saying here. So now I got all this experience. I want to be going compensation now. Well, compensation pays more than a recruiter. So guess what? All right, change my resume around to read like it was compensation. I did 3 interviews in the beginning. All 3 of those interviews got denied. I got a rejection because this is my first time going into this field. But I recorded each one of those interviews. So by the 4th interview, I got a job offer, remote. Fully remote compensation analyst, okay? All because I became who I told them that I was going to be by reading this job description and memorizing these answers from these previous interviews. I got the job. So I did that for a little while and I got bored. I get bored with jobs, y'all. I make the money, I get bored, so now I want to go on a project team. All right, so now I want to be a project coordinator. Eventually, I want to be a project manager, but you got to start from somewhere. So I had to start from a project coordinator. What I did was I transferred all the skills I learned from all of my previous jobs into this project coordinator position. For the first time I did an interview, I got the job. First interview, got the job because I became who I told them I was. Also because project management is the same thing like case management, is the same thing like being a recruiter. All of those different cases was projects. All of those different clients that wanted to get the job, all of those applicants, all of those was projects. So all of I did was put my experience from there, brought it to the project team, and boom, I became a project coordinator. I first got on with the government. It was a government position with the Department of Defense. Isn't that something? My first project position was with the government and the Department of Defense. I never told anybody. I just told everybody I work from home, but I didn't tell anybody I work for the government because all of my shit was it was classified. I couldn't tell y'all where I worked at and what I did. So I actually really did have one of those jobs. If I tell them I have to kill you, one of those jobs right there, yeah, I had one of those, okay? So now I'm working for the government. I worked there for 2 years as a project coordinator. And then after that, now I want to be a project manager. So what I did, I took all of my experience, went over to the project manager position. The first interview my sister did, it was good because it had asked about schematics. I didn't know how to read a schematic at that time. I do now, but I didn't. But my sister was familiar with reading a schematic. They asked her what it was. She told them. So she did the first interview. I got pushed to the second interview. I did my second interview and I got the job. Okay, so she did the first one because she had the experience on the schematics, and I did the second one. I got the job. I've been a project manager since. So my career went from 37,500, so 40,000. From 40,000, it went to 70,000. From 70,000, it went to 100,000, and now I'm over 6 figures. You see what I did with my career? All because I know how to do resumes. I know how to answer these interview questions, and I know how to lie to get there. Y'all be scared. Scared to lie. Y'all tell the niggas the truth. You tell the jobs the truth. The only people who you supposed to be telling the truth are the following. You got to tell your doctor the truth because you don't want to die for some shit you ain't told him about. You got to tell your doctor the truth. You got to tell your lawyer the truth because you need your lawyer to help you get off. All right. And you got to tell your psychiatrist the truth or your coach because you need them to help you heal. Everything else should be a lie. From the niggas to the resume. All right. If you want to keep telling the truth, then you're going to keep not making the money that you want to make. If you want to keep telling the truth, then the niggas going to keep playing in your face. None of the truth has not set anybody free. Remember they said that the truth shall set you free? It hasn't set anybody free. What it has done is caged a lot of y'all in this little cage where y'all only make no more than $25 an hour. I used to be there. $25 an hour is $50,000 a year. Will I go back to that? I don't want to. But you see where I'm going? All right. So to get on this side of things, we got to lie a little bit. We got to lie. We got to lie. Okay? That's it. You know what I'm saying? Because the United States is a corporation to see and carry itself as a business. Absolutely. So in business, the only thing I'm being honest about is to my clients when I give y'all stuff. That's it. Y'all the only. I be honest to y'all, my doctor, my attorney, if I got a coach or a therapist, I be honest to them. Can't nobody else today get the honesty from me. Why? My job they don't even get honesty from me. They're gonna get exactly who they hired. Thank you for teaching me my job. That's it. Okay. So now let's talk about the job duties, because a lot of y'all be having job duties that's not a lot or too many, all right? Each role should have no more than 8 to 10 job duties, and they all need to speak. I don't know why. Somebody said a live had paused. I don't know why. Let me know, because somebody did say a live pause. I don't know where it paused at, but hopefully it's not YouTube. But anyway, so 8 to 10 job duties, okay? And it needs to be quantitative results and qualitative results. Quantitative are numbers, volume, metrics. Qualitative are improvements, outcomes, and changes. Y'all Y'all are sending in resumes that just list a job duty. So here it says here. Let me give you a job duty that you'll have. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pull up a resume and tell y'all about a job duty that'll just be there when it needs some quantitative or qualitative results. Hold on. Okay, I got one of these resumes right now. Hold on, y'all. I'm putting up something so y'all can see what I'm talking about, because I need y'all to see how this job duty should have read. And where we'll be having an issue right now to open up. Crazy. All right. Here we go. Sorry, y'all. Okay, so now, listen to this job duty. Initiated reference checks and extended employment offers to candidates. That was a real job duty I did as a recruiter. Now, I added 2 bullet points. The first one being train new recruiters on the process of screening, testing, and interviewing, and utilizing Workday to source candidates, add notes, requisitions, and navigate as a recruiter. Okay? Then the second one says, successfully push back on hiring managers by providing market research in a solution to the software quality assurance to increase salary by 27%, going from $70,000 to $95,000. Do y'all hear the numbers? First, I gave you a duty, but then there was no follow-up to show exactly how I completed that duty. You have to have qualitative and quantitative results in your resume. You can't tell me that you was a bad security guard at the school, but you can't tell me how many students you secured, how many attacks that you ward off. You don't give me any of those things. You just want me to believe you're the baddest security guard. No, you have to have numbers and tell us how you was the baddest. Okay, qualitative and quantitative does matter in resumes. Okay, again, the quantitative results are numbers, volume, and metrics. The qualitative results are improvements, outcomes, and changes, okay? You need to tell us how you improved, how you made this company better since you were in that position. Exactly. Stand out and know your shit, because if you don't, you will blend in. Now, what happened because you did it? Did efficiency improve? Did processes change? Did productivity increase? Did customer satisfaction improve? All of these things need to be in your resumes when you're talking about stuff, when you're talking about your position, okay? Impact gets interviews. So again, if you're given an AI resume that just have AI duties and it doesn't show how you impacted a company, well, you're gonna get denials for that. You have to show us how you impacted that company. All right. Now, your resume should also see transformation, not task. Anybody can complete task. They want to see people who create outcomes. So your resume should answer the problem, or answer the following questions. What problem existed? What action did you take? What changed afterward? That's how you stand out. Your job duties can't just be, yes, this one will be saved. Yes, it will. Your job duties can't be, I opened the store at 7 a.m. Okay. And how did opening the store at 7 a.m. change? Did you get more customers? What happened? What happened as what you opening the store at 7 a.m.? Because anybody who is a key holder go open the store. But why are you telling me that in the resume? What changed with that? It needs to have you need to show that a change or what happened with that, okay? Now let's talk about a career shift. Your goal is to not stay employed. Your goal is to move into a career path that increases income, stability, and opportunity. Sis, you can't keep working down here for $15, $20 an hour. We have to show growth in your career, how you went from 15 and now you at 65. I need to see that. I told you I went from 37,500 to over six figures. I showed y'all the growth and told y'all the growth. So I'm always an asset when I go to companies, okay? Because I have so much experience that I can teeter-totter in so many different career industries, social services, recruitment, project team, project management. I can also go back to technology, to help desk. I have so much experience from different fields, and I have a resume that's robust. So anytime I apply for a position, I get to pick and choose where I want to apply because I have so much experience. And while y'all working under your boss, y'all need to be taking notes on how the boss became a boss. You can become a boss. Absolutely. A lot of y'all are so afraid to let y'all bosses mentor y'all. Let me tell y'all something about getting your supervisor to mentor you. Now they see that you're trying to grow with the company. So when they start thinking about those who they going to hire or put in different positions, your name is going to be first in the hat because you chose them to mentor you. Even if it's just for them to mentor you now, for you to get to another position with another company to get more pay. You definitely want to use your current supervisor as a means for them to mentor you because you want to give them the illusion that you're trying to grow with the company. Whatever they believe is on them. You know what you're trying to do. Another thing y'all got to do is you got to stay loyal to the money. See, a lot of y'all be on job where y'all been in those jobs 5 years, 10 years, and you don't even make the money that you're supposed to be making. I told y'all about this one time before. Stop staying loyal to jobs just because you've been there for the duration. That's why y'all get stuck with them niggas. Y'all staying loyal to niggas who no longer serves you. If the money is not serving you, then go find a job where the money will. I move with the money. Of course, I would love to retire and say I retired from this company I've been working at for 10 years. But I can't see myself working there for 10 years if my salary hasn't increased significantly over 10 years. So if I started at $20 an hour in 10 years, I better be at 60 an hour. Because why am I still under 40 an hour after 10 years? Now I just wasted 10 years of my life on a company that did not even see my value. The same way you would with niggas who don't see your value, you wasting time. It has to make sense. So if it's not helping you grow to a different position, then leave the company. Be loyal to the money, not to the company. Because the moment your ass fall out and pass, guess what the company gonna do? Take your position the next day, it's gonna be up for grabs. They don't care that you was there for 10 years. You passed, the position got to go on. So that's what you need to do in your career. You don't care if you've been there for 6 months. If another position come along and pay you more, bye. Go where the money go. I can't see myself being nowhere. It ain't paying me. I heard one lady say she had been working at Florida State for 20 years. 20 years she had been working her entire life. She worked at Florida State since when she came into the work world, and when I met her, she was in her 50s. For 20 years she had worked there. She had just got over 6 figures. Do you hear? I would never be somewhere for 20 years just making 6 figures. Do you know how stupid I would be? I would be mad at myself for that. 20 years have passed by and I just got to 105,000. So what the hell I was doing for the last 19 years? Absolutely not. I'm coming out the gate as close to 100,000 as possible. So if I'm coming out the gate first year coming in at 95,000, 85,000, you know damn well I ain't got 20 years to wait to get there. I need that right now. So I'm not gonna wait, okay? So now, resumes are the bridge between who you are and where you want to go in your career. So if you keep submitting the same resume expecting different results, you are delaying your own growth. I told you, every position calls for a different set of responsibilities and qualifications. The same resume is not going to get you this job that you submitted over here. You being a project manager at Comcast is a different project manager at Spectrum. Do you hear what I'm saying? Comcast offers all the same services as Spectrum. However, the Spectrum project manager does something completely different from the Comcast project manager. I have to talk to that, not to just being a project manager. All right. So now, EMT Group is where you're finna get all your tailored resume services and interview prep. Because a lot of y'all don't know how to interview and all your resumes are out of whack. So you do need to head on over to emtgroupllc.com. That's emtgroup, GROUPELLC.com to get your resume services. Thank you. And get your interview prep. I don't want none of y'all to still be in these jobs that's paying y'all less than your age. Okay, listen to me. If you are over the age of 30, you should be making 40,000 or better. If you're over the age of 20, you should be making 30,000 or better. If you're over the age of 50, you should be making at least 75,000. If you are not making more than your age, then you are the problem. Why are you still working for a job that doesn't see your worth? I make way more than my age. 2 times my age is what I make, okay? I would prefer to make 2 times my age and have these bills on auto pay than for me to be sitting around here trying to figure out how I'm going to rub 2 nickels together and get the money I need for my bills. It didn't bother me. Anytime I need to learn more, I pay for me to learn more. I don't complain about the price. Fortunately for me, I am a career coach and my sister is one too. So all of the things that y'all have to pay for, I didn't have to pay for. She actually helped me because I'm her twin. She is EMT Group LLC. I didn't have to pay for those services, but I'm her twin. Unfortunately, a lot of y'all have to pay for those services if you want your career to grow. All right. So now, with that being said, I want to answer some questions that I got. How often should I update your resume? Your EMT Group LLC. Let me put it in the comments. She also has a YouTube. I meant to say Instagram. She does not check she does not like you to send her any messages in a DM. Because if you're serious about services, you will go to the website to inquire about services, not being a DM. She hates that. I just put it over here. Let me see if it's a way to put it in the comments over here on YouTube. Let me see. It's not a way for me to comment. I can't comment over here on YouTube, but I'll put it in this video description when I do this description for this video. Okay, emtgroupllc.com. Okay, now listen. How often should you update your resume? Every time you apply for a different role. Every time you apply for a different role, your resume should be updated. Every time, not one time. Every time. Should I use one resume for everything? No. Every resume that you submit has to be tailored to the job description. Every time, okay? How long should a resume be? 1 to 2 pages if you're doing a private sector job, up to 3 pages if you're doing federal. 7 years in 1 to 2 pages, 10 years in 3 pages. Okay. What if I don't have direct experience? Translate your transferable skills. I keep telling y'all, I use all of my experience from being a case manager up into a recruiter, up into the help desk and compensation analyst. I took all of those skills I learned there and transfer everything to the project team. You can do that, okay? You don't have to always have direct experience, but you have done some of those duties already. You got to just know how to write it in your resume. Why am I getting instant rejections? More than likely, the ATS is flagging AI, it's detecting AI or lack of keyword alignment. Your resume needs to also be filled full with keywords that come from the job description. What it means when you go on interviews and they say you're a professional, but they still didn't pick you. That means that at some point during that interview, you answered a question completely wrong. They took their notes. They'll tell you some good things after that, but they're not going to hire you because you did not give them the answer that they was looking for. Your resume wasn't the problem because it got you to the interview. When you were in that interview, something you said did not jar them for that position and you got rejected, okay? Listen to me. If the resume is getting you to the interviews and you're getting rejection after the interview, that means that you need better interview prep skills. EMT Group LLC is going to help you better prepare for interviews. Get that interview prep service, all right? Do I need interview prep? Every candidate needs interview prep. If you're trying to go into a career position where you could possibly have a higher salary, yes, you need interview prep because you don't know what to say. You've been working at hourly jobs for this long. You need to know how to get to a salary position. Okay? So yes, you need interview prep anytime you apply for a position. Listen, it is very easy for you to keep getting disqualified or again rejected from jobs. But it's even easier if you invest in yourself and get the service that you need so that you can no longer get these rejections. It is 2026. If you want to make your income from your jobs grow, your skills are gonna have to grow on the other side. You need a resume writer, interview prep, and you need to stop doing everything, putting everything in your resume that don't belong there. Okay. Now, this was a great live. I hope y'all learned a lot, took some notes. I will keep this live up on YouTube. It will not be on IG. It will be on my YouTube channel. I have a whole channel for this for the Career Girlies. So make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube, The Fuck Nigga Whisperer. This is where this live will be, okay? So that you can do replays for this live, all right? I will see y'all on this week coming up. We got live on Friday, not Wednesday. Wednesday was how to stop getting played, but I have traveling to do this week, so we'll be doing live on Fridays from now on. Friday is how to stop getting played. Friday, Saturday is breadcrumbs only, no meals, and next Sundays is gonna go back to to Small Business Talk 104. I think we at 104. Yes, 104. I think we at 104. It could be at 103. I forget. Okay. So Friday is how to stop getting played. Saturday is breadcrumbs only, no meals. And Sunday is Small Business Talk 103. Make sure y'all get the reminders. They're on YouTube and on IG. And I will see y'all on the next live. Y'all have a great Sunday.